Welcome to Facts TV News, where everything is true. Police shut down 9 night for slain Mighty Diamond member. Member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force had terminated the setup being held for the recent slain member of the Mighty Diamonds, Donald Tabby Diamond Shaw. Reports reaching reporters are that no permission was sought or received for the holding of the outdoor gathering. Disappointed attendees departed the area without incident. Kingston College has 17-point lead on Day 2. Kingston College have established a 17-point lead over defending champions Jamaica College as Day 2 of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Championships ended with some spectacular performances at the National Stadium. After 8 finals, Kingston College lead with 68 points, ahead of Jamaica College sitting on 51 points. St. Jaga High School was third at 28 points, just ahead of St. Elizabeth Technical High School States on 23 points, and Woolmer's Boys on 18, rounding out to top 5. Edwin Allen are sitting in 8th spot with 13 points, and 9 of that from Brian Level, who won the Class 1 100 meter in a decent 10.25. But he had to work hard to shave off the challenge of KC's new boy on the black Javon Newby, who ran the race of his life from lane 2 and was just pipped on the line in 10.26. Meanwhile, St. Jaga High School won the boys' first final courtesy of Balvin Israel, who leapt 7.33 meter to win the Class 2 long jump. Mark Phillips of Woolmer's Boys was second with 6.96 meters, with Rocoy Hunter of St. Elizabeth High School third. The first boys' final on the track was the Class 3 15,000 meter, and the small gathering at the stadium were left in awe as Jamaica College's Kuta of Kenya dismantled the field with a winning, which was just outside the record set by Tavon Martin of Belfield High School in 2019. Ruta was well over 100 meter and a whopping 16 seconds ahead of Rushing Dreams of Calabar College. KC picked up valuable points as Javon Robinson finished third. JC Gardner only 3 points as Alex Baker battled home for 6 as Glory Clarks was 12. Mogati High registered probably their first win at Champs as Yashane Brown captured the Class 2 1500 meter. Brian Kipro was a surprising second. The much vaulted JC period of Tyrone Lawson and Rashid Price was 4th and 8th respectively in a race they were predicted to dominate. But things were as usual for JC in Class 1 as race favourite Javon Blake outbattled his teammate Handel Robban of St. Vincent and won. The KC twins, Giovanni and Gianni Henry, were 3rd and 4th. KC surprisingly outscored JC in the 1500 meter, garnered 33 points to JC 25, and established an early 8-point lead, sitting at 37 points. Tina Clayton wins Class 1 100 meter sister takes bronze medal. World Under-20 champion Tina Clayton of Edwin Allen High produced a masterclass of sprinting to win the Class 1 girls 100 meter title on Wednesday's second evening of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletic Championships at the National Stadium. Heidel Thai, Brianna Linston, who had set the pace all season and had beaten Tina earlier in their semi-final, and who was sandwiched between the Edwin Allen twins, was second, with Tia third in the 11.47 seconds. Edwin Allen's Neville wins boys Class 1 100 meter. Edwin Allen's Brian Neville made up for last year's disappointment that saw him finish out of the medals in the Class 1 boys 100 meter when he won a close and exciting race on Wednesday's second day of the Issa Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Champs at the National Stadium. Brian clocked 10.25 seconds to hold off Kingston College's Javon Newby, who was a surprise second in 10.26 seconds in lane 1, with Herbert Morrison's DeAndre Daly third in 10.33 seconds. Jamaica's College's Mark Anthony Miller took the Class 2 race in 10.76 seconds, same time given to second place Gary Gard of Woolmer's Boys, with Jason Lewis of Camperdown High taking third in 10.84 seconds. Tavin Stewart won his second title in just over a month as the COCAA Western Champs winner, upset the field to win the Class 3 Boys 100 meter title in 11.3 seconds. Calabar's high favorite, Nicole Bramwell, was second in 11.06 seconds, with front court high Ajay Brown taking third with 11.34 seconds. Spanish Town Hospital support staff stage protests. Members of the support staff at Spanish Town Hospital protested Wednesday over what they said is the failure of the medical facility to fulfill its obligation to provide them with uniforms for each of the last 3 financial years. They are now awaiting word on decisions made during a meeting of the hospital administration to discuss the issue. The placard-bearing workers, who wore black as they converged at the hospital to express their gross, are asking for monetary compensation instead of the uniforms they did not receive for the year 2019 to 2020 and 2020 to 2021 financial year. Union delegate of the Jamaica Association of Local Government Offices, Teresa Francis, reported that based on their agreement with the hospital, if uniforms are not provided within the first half of the financial year, workers are to be reimbursed funds they spent to fill the gap. She said for the just concluded financial year 2021-2022, the workers are asking for uniforms and not monetary compensation. The reason we are waiting for the material is because the hospital would have already owed us for the 2 previous years. So we agree that we would wait for the uniform material this year. The financial year has finished and we still did not get the material promised, Francis reported. We are still in limbo. That's the reason we are trying to exercise some right given to us by labor laws by wearing a different color because we don't have any uniform to wear. We are out in black and waiting to see what happens, she added. Francis said Jalgo represents more than 100 members of the hospital supporting staff. The others are represented by the university and Allied Workers Union. Little Bay land squabble heats up. A bitter and long-running land dispute in Little Bay and Brington in Westmoreland escalated on Wednesday with informal settlers, gasoline in hand and roadblocked, ready to take their protest up a notch after what they say was an attempt to bulldoze their dwelling. The police intervened, no buildings were razed, and a full-scale riot was averted. At the heart of the issue is more than 800 acres of prime beachfront real estate. On Wednesday, residents told reporters that an open-bed truck drove up to the gate of their community leader and president of the Violet Communities Association, Jess Beach, and offloaded a bulldozer. An alarm was raised and residents came to the rescue. Beach's son, George Rose, said they had been ready to fight. You see, if any white man, blue man, green man, black man, any one of them cause my mother fi dead, them a go live in the sky. Them have to go kill me too. Me no run joke, a one mother me got, and me know one nobody stress her out, he said. Rose said the workmen who came with the bulldozer are not from the parish and were not in the mood to have a conversation, claiming they were just doing their jobs. The efforts of the crew were foiled by the police. In March, former government lawmaker and attorney-at-law Reverend Ronald Waits, who represented some of the defendants in the matter, they had been drawn out in court for over a decade, suggested in an interview that the government should act as a broker between the parties, pointing out that hundreds of people have been living on and investing in the property for more than 30 years. Twaits argued that to try to evict them would cause civil unrest of that sort that would be very dangerous to contemplate, and therefore, I believe that no doubt the owner has his rights, and so the people who settled there over many years. In 2011, the court granted writs of possession to an individual living overseas and the eviction of at least 37 squatters. However, Twaits argued that since the 2011 declaration, the laws of the country have been developed in such a way that gives strength to the people who have occupied the land undisturbed for a certain period of time. The current law gives squatters the right to claim legal ownership by adverse possession of private land if they can prove that they acted undisturbed as an owner for 12 years or more, or 60 years in the case of the Crown government property. Twaits has also disclosed that offers to purchase were made to the owner but were flatly rejected. On Wednesday, Beach, who over the years has helped maintain peace in the area as president of the association, renewed a call she made in March for the intervention of Prime Minister Andrew Holness. Mr. Prime Minister, we cannot go on like this. We need your help and support. Right now, sir, I don't know where we stand, so we need your help and support, she pleaded. She and other residents told reporters that workmen have been in the area doing land survey on Tuesday. Drones were also reportedly used. In March, several residents came out on their numbers and staged a peaceful demonstration in the community. They also chained the gate of the Little Bay All-Age and Infant School, but the chains were later removed with the help of the police. The residents' dispute was linked to the eviction notices that were made possible under a Supreme Court order dated October 21, 2021. They were told that they would be evicted without further notice if they failed to immediately vacate premises you now occupy on a squatter in Little Bay and Brigaton. An article posted by Yahoo Finance on January 18, 2022 said United States-based investors were facing delays with a proposed $8 billion development of two five-star resorts, each fitted with PGA-style golf courts. The article blamed the delay on the land being occupied by the squatters, while the government remained silent on the issue. The article also said Carl Somoda, then Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation, intervened in June 2018, indicating that the quarters would be resettled. Yahoo Finance also said that since then, several meetings had been held and timetables scheduled, with the latest meeting held in April 2021. That was attended by Minister Pernell Charles Jr., Minister of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change, who promised a swift and decisive decision and followed up, said Yahoo Finance. It's a police matter. Morgan says he has no knowledge of alleged illegal party at Transport Authority. Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister, Robert Morgan, says he has no knowledge of an alleged illegal party at the headquarters of the Transport Authority on December 17 last year, when the country was still under the restrictions of the Disaster Risk Management Act, DRMA. The DRMA measures were imposed in 2020 to help curtail the spread of the coronavirus pandemic on the island. The measures were only mostly lifted on March 18, and persons who were found in breach of the law before that date were still appearing in court up to the last week to pay fines. Morgan, the de facto information minister, was asked whether the government would be pressing for sanctions against the management or staff of the Transport Authority for allegedly staging the illegal Christmas party. He was also asked whether the government's treatment of several cabinet ministers who flaunted the DRMA measures at Centuria's album launch, where they appeared maskless and not observing social distancing requirements days before the DRMA measures were lifted, served to undermine Prime Minister Andrew Holness' own authority in this case. I did not see that, he reported, Morgan claimed, after being asked about the media report on the alleged party. It would be challenging for me to respond or comment on something I've not seen, Morgan added, with the reporter who asked the question responding with, "Really, Minister?" I did not see it, Morgan insisted. The 5 cabinet ministers at Centuria's album launch on March 15 on Campbell Boulevard in Kingston were Nigel Clark, Oliver Grange, Dr. Christopher Tufton, Floyd Green and Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Horace Chang. Grange, the Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport, was shown wearing a mask, but Tufton, the Minister of Health and Wellness, Clark, the Minister of Finance and the Public Service, and Chang, the Minister of National Security, were photographed without masks. The ministers were not social distancing either, and it would be another 3 days before the DRMA measures would be lifted on March 18. Regarding the DRMA breaching ministers, Morgan reminded that Holness commented in the Parliament, where he instructed Grange to collect a $100,000 fine from each of the offending ministers. I will confirm to you that the ministers have been willingly and cooperative in that approach. I suspect Minister Grange will announce soon where those funds will go and the rest of the story, he added. As it relates to the Transport Authority, it's something that we need to look at. You're saying that they breached the DRMA. That should be a police matter, don't you think? Morgan asked rhetorically before answering with, I think so. They, the police, or the constituted authority on that. The Holness administration and the police have faced criticism for the treatment of the cabinet ministers, in particularly those with responsibility under the DRMA, in a situation where thousands of Jamaicans have been fined for breaching the DRMA, some of whom were hit with fines of up to $200,000. The police have repeatedly said they can't act without the evidence. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, and click the notification bell for daily updates.